Welcome to The Other Dimension with the team, Damon Penny, Ben Winfield, and Louisa Brown. We guide you through the supernatural, the occult, and the unexplained, answering questions that will make you question your grip of reality, with special guests guiding you through everything from demons to divination, cryptids to crystals, religion to skeptics. We explore in depth the true meaning of the unexplained. So strap in, kick back, and enjoy as we enter the other dimension.
Hello everybody, welcome to The Other Dimension. I'm your host Kate, and with me today we have Insane Joe, a very, very interesting guy. Before we get into that, just want to say a big shout out to Ben and Lou. Just thank you for all of your support, and really enjoyed. They had a show last Sunday. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. They should be back every bi-weekly, so once every 2 weeks, which is awesome. And yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. I can see 5 people watching. Big shout out to my dad, because I know he's watching. And thank you so much, Joe, for being here. I'm so excited to interview you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's honestly just amazing that I get to interview you. You're such an interesting guy. So first of all, you live in Wisconsin, right? In Illinois.
Well, pretty much born and raised here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's nice. And
I was born in Illinois.
Right, that's what I was going to ask you.
But I was raised in Wisconsin. It's kind of funny. The hospital I was born at was in Illinois, but my parents' house where we lived was in Wisconsin. So.
Oh, wow. Was it like right on the border?
Yeah, I was right. Yeah, they lived in South Beloit at the time.
Okay. I have to look at that on a map. I'm not so familiar at the moment. That's great. Oh, hi, Lee. Awesome, thanks. Yeah, and do you like living in Wisconsin? Is there anything particular about living there that you enjoy?
I did. Back in my younger days. But with all the progress, it's destroyed so much of what made Wisconsin, great.
It's a shame.
I mean, I like living here. I really do. I don't see myself living anywhere else.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of disappointed because they let things like the Dells go to hell, Wisconsin Dells.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about the Dells.
It's become like a huge tourist trap.
Right.
And back in my day, when I was younger, it was called Fort Dells.
Right.
And it was totally different than it is now.
Oh, so it's kind of got worse due to tourism and
it got a lot worse over the years.
That's a shame. Have you traveled a bit of the States? Is there anywhere that you would recommend going to? Because I'm very new here.
I've traveled all over the state. My favorite place to go is, what was that? What do they call that? God, my wife's not sitting across from me. But it's like up in the Upper Peninsula part. There's a place called, it's up near Green Bay.
Right.
Okay. It's called Bay Beach.
Oh, okay.
That is, they've got an old amusement. Well, they've got not an old amusement park. It's an amusement park with like old school prices.
Right. Oh, that's
so
cool.
The prices haven't caught up to today yet.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And there is a lot to see in and around that area that's very historical.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
There was like a children's museum inside of a shopping mall. I thought that was kind of unique too.
That's so cool. Oh, I think Eric Thompson, hi, welcome in. Used to be a great place to go swimming. I think he was talking about the Dells.
No, Bay Beach.
Is it Bay
We
Beach?
just
Oh,
said Bay
nice.
Beach is 30 minutes away from him.
No way. Oh, Eric, tell us more. Is it worth going? I have to go now. Oh, awesome. Yeah.
I took my kids there once, and I don't know how long ago that was. They were actually still kids then. They're
Yeah.
they're adults now. And I threw out my shoulder in a batting cage.
No. That's when you know that you're not how you once were when you
Yeah,
start to pull things.
well, my son and I got a little competitive, so it was kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah. Did you say there were arcades then? Or
There were arcades all over the place when I was growing up. Not so,
yeah.
no. The arcades that they have now, they're more for little kids, like my
Right.
grandchildren, because that's like skee ball and little things that give you tickets so you can get prizes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. I really miss the 80s. I mean, obviously I wasn't born then. I was born in 1990, but from what I've seen, it was amazing the types of arcades that you used to have and all the gaming stuff. And why don't they do that anymore? That's such a shame.
I've been asking that forever. I mean, there's a lot gone from that era that I do miss. The drive-ins. I was pretty much born and raised around Madison,
Right.
okay, which is the capital of Wisconsin, and it's also where the home of the Wisconsin Badgers. So Cap Brandel Stadium's there.
Oh,
So, but they used to have two drive-in movie theaters there in Madison when I was a kid. One was a fourplex, so it had four screens. So you had your
oh
choice
my
of
gosh.
movies.
Okay.
You had your choice of movies to watch. And then they had like two roller rinks, so you could go roller skating.
Oh,
And the arcades, I mean, just on the side of town I lived, there was at least 6 arcades within walking distance of where I lived.
wow. Yeah, I just can't even imagine that now. I don't think I've ever been rollerblading. I kind of had a bit of a resurge in the late 90s, but yeah, I just can't imagine how much fun it would like nobody on their phones, everybody just living in
Oh,
the
you didn't
moment.
have phones back then. There
No,
was no cell phones. You had to have quarters in your pocket in order to make a phone call back then.
just a
You know,
simple life.
because you had pay phones on the walls.
Yeah. Wow. What a decade to be alive.
You
Seriously.
know, and the roller rinks were like, yeah, you went around in a big circle thing, but the thing was, it was the lights, the
Yeah.
music, and just hanging out with all your friends.
Yeah, definitely. That just multi-sensory experience that yeah, you just don't find places like that now. It is such a
And they don't
shame.
exist.
No. No, you have to open one, Joe, where you live now. Have to do it.
They are coming back with what they call retro arcades. You pay like a fee
Yeah.
to enter, and you can play any game you want for
Okay.
as long as you want. I think it's either goes by the hour or it's like a whole day thing or something. I plan on checking one out next time I go to Chicago,
Nice. Okay, let me know.
because there was one, what was it called? They kind of had a paranormal vibe to it because of the title of the place.
Oh,
I
I don't
told
think I've
Nick
heard
about
of
it, and I
that.
can't remember what it was called, but I know I can find it because it's one of the things that I want to do.
Yeah, you have to share it with me because
It'd be like, to me, it'd be like going back in time.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely let me know because as you know, I'm in the Chicago area, so that would be really, really interesting
It's not
to
that far
know.
for us to
Yeah,
travel.
yeah, definitely. So, Joe, I want to get into your life now, if that's okay. You have been through a lot in your life. I just have to emphasize that much more than most people. You've had ups and downs, a lot of downs. You've battled horrific things that most people would have nightmares about. Could you tell us a little bit about what you've been through, if you don't mind?
Where do you want me to start? I mean,
Do you want to start when you were 26 years old?
well,
I
I'll
know.
start before that. I'll tell you this much. From the time I was about 8 or 9 years old, so that you're talking like 1976 ish.
Okay.
I was 10 in 77.
Right.
I know that because I was 10 years old when Elvis died. From that point until about my senior year in high school, that was one big nightmare. And basically, that part of my childhood was gone and robbed me because there was a lot of sexual abuse going on.
I'm so
And
sorry.
I was the victim. Okay.
That's
And
absolutely horrendous. I'm so sorry.
that's caused what they caused a disorder. Eventually they got diagnosed bipolar manic depressive disorder, because during that time I also tried to take my own life several times. I didn't care. I gave up. I was ready to give up on life altogether. So over time my teeth got rotted because I really didn't care,
No.
Because where I was living before my senior year in high school, I was afraid to even take a bath or a shower.
Oh my goodness, Joe.
Okay. So I get back home and somehow I managed to block a lot of it out. But that was just the manic side of me talking, because that gets you into trouble.
Sure.
Dealing with bipolar manic depressive disorder wasn't easy, because when you go through the low points, or when you crash as they call it, you got to watch out for the suicidal tendencies that'll come with that deep dark depression.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even imagine.
And then when you get into the manic states, well, that kind of stuff can ruin your life, because you'll maybe have a tendency of spending money that you don't have, so you end up going into debt, or you just get these very grandiose ideas.
Yeah.
Anything
to make you
and
feel.
Still it's not safe, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was hard, dealing with that and trying to deal with a new school at the same time, because at this time I went from a small town country school, because I was living in Oregon,
right,
with my dad at the time. And
okay.
my dad was not a very nice man when he drank, and he drank all the time. From the time he'd get off work, he'd hit a bar, and by the time he'd get home, he'd be 3 sheets to the wind. Okay. So all of that was like kind of a nightmare. My childhood got destroyed. I get there, I'm living back with my mom. It's my senior year of high school, and I'm starting to try to come out of what a shell I was in. Like I was closed off and kept to myself a lot.
Of course, yeah.
For a while, I was the most popular student at that school, because I beat up the bully. My first week there, I just couldn't stand him picking on people, and basically, when he decided to try to pick on me, that was the wrong move.
Yeah.
But
I mean, after
he didn't know that, because some of the things I learned at a young age, that I was afraid to tell people about some of the abuse that was happening, and so I kind of vented in other safe ways. Like, I learned karate.
Oh, Wow.
I got trained off the books, so I didn't have to register with the police department as a lethal weapon.
Right.
Um, Unfortunately, we just lost the guy that trained me.
Oh, I'm
77 years old. He
sorry.
was a Madison legend and
Oh,
a friend of my
wow.
family for years. But he trained me how to defend myself, and then I also learned how to box from a Golden Gloves boxing champion.
Oh my
So
goodness. Wow.
so I learned how to defend myself,
Yeah.
and so I didn't like what the bully was doing, so I ended up kind of taking over the school.
Yeah.
In,
Yeah.
in a sense, I made a lot of people scared just by knocking him out. And I literally knocked him out. It was kind of funny. And I didn't even do it. I just hit him once square in the nose. He was holding the desk over the top of his head.
Oh my
And the desk is
goodness.
what knocked him out because it fell on
Yeah.
his.
Karma
So,
then, really, that he did it to himself.
so, but I got a lot of people like coming up to me, thank you, because, they were afraid of this dude, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And most bullies, if you stand up to them,
Yeah.
they usually back down.
Yeah. A bit more
Um,
submissive then.
then we
Oh,
went, let's
Joe.
see, we go fast forward. I graduated honor roll, which was not surprising. But then I go through and I had, what was it, 80, if I get this wrong and she's watching, I'll be 86. My
Right.
first child was born. I graduated in 85. So
Right.
in 1986, she was a miracle. She was
Oh.
a miracle baby. She was born December 9th, and it was the same day my stepfather was being sentenced.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wow.
they took my stepfather and threw him in jail for a year.
Right.
And my mom just came to the hospital, and the minute she grabbed my daughter, she's like, oh, she calmed down and all of this. And
Oh.
from that point on, my daughter Deb was known as Miracle Child.
Yeah,
She was the first
absolutely.
grandchild born to my mom.
Oh.
But it happened to be right around the exact same time they sentenced him
Right. Yeah.
that she was born, right down to the minute.
Yeah. My gosh. It's almost like she was bringing happiness into your life with the bad, you know.
She's been that way ever since, though.
Oh.
So, but then, after having all my kids, last one being born 6 months before I was diagnosed with the leukemia, December 4th, 1995.
Wow.
They are why I fought so hard for that.
Yeah.
I got the leukemia December 4th, 1995. I was diagnosed. I thought I had pneumonia or a real bad cold or something. So I was like taking stuff like NyQuil and, all those cold medicines and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there at my apartment, and the next thing I know, I get up because my girlfriend was coming, so I cash a check and help her with some groceries or something. I knew it was something for the kids. And she was going to come pick me up, and I got up to shave and I passed out.
Oh my goodness.
I took a shower and I passed out. And this happened 3 or 4 times, and I just got really scared.
Yeah, of
So I
course.
got to the phone, dialed 911, and I was able to get to the door and unlock it, passing out a couple of times along the way. And I got to the couch and I unlocked the door so they could get in. Girlfriend arrives about the time the ambulance was there, and they were rushing me to the hospital because they stood me up. And anytime I'd stand up on my feet, I had no blood pressure. So that's why I was passing out.
Oh, right.
So the leukemia, they didn't know this at the time yet, but the white blood cell count was so high that it was real close to killing me.
Oh my goodness.
So we get to the hospital, they figure out that it's AML leukemia, and don't ask me, look it up.
Yeah.
It's acute mild, that's the word I can't pronounce. It's something leukemia.
Okay.
Anyway, it's rare in adults. At this time, I was, what we figured out, I was 27 years old.
Yeah.
And during the time I died, I flatlined, so they have to use the paddles to bring it back. And one time I flatlined for like 3 minutes or so.
Oh my goodness.
And I had an out of body experience to the point where I saw them working on me. My brother, my stepfather, and my dad were all in that room. But I ended up floating kind of out of the room I was in into the waiting room where my mother was. And she had a bad heart, so she was having episodes.
Oh no.
And so she had a whole crew of doctors working on her out there.
Right.
And I knew what was going on. I tried saying something, but I kind of knew that nobody'd hear me or see me or something. I knew something was wrong because I saw myself down there.
Wow.
So when they finally get me back and I'm stabilized, I looked at my brother and I said, "How's mom doing?" And he's like, "Don't worry about mom. She's okay." And I said, "No, she's not." He's like, "How do you know?" And I said, "Because I saw her."
That is insane. Oh my goodness. So that was your first ever experience paranormal where you could say, I really believe.
Yeah, that's why I believe, because that made me open my mind and believe anything's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's incredible.
Because at the time, growing up in Wisconsin, I heard all the Bigfoot stories. I never heard of like the Beast of Bray Road or anything, but I've heard the Bigfoot stories, and I always thought, it's just a misidentification like everybody else, because there is right now a bear roaming around somewhere in the city limits. We get notifications.
Oh, okay.
Like south of me somewhere, it was spotted in like south of where I live.
And are they like the brown bears? Are they like
no? This was a black bear.
Black bear. Oh my! Wow. That's kind of terrifying, but slightly.
Well, they're native to Wisconsin, so if you know what to do, you'll be fine. But they just put out this alert that it's been spotted here. Be warned, don't approach it. Those kind of things.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They're trying to get close enough to trank it, but they can't.
Oh, okay.
Or they haven't been successful yet.
Can I ask, when you're face to face with a bear, what is the best thing to do? Because I've heard so many mixed things about what you're supposed to do.
I don't know. I've never been face to face with a bear that wasn't behind bars.
Oh, right.
I've always heard play dead.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Don't run.
I know they say don't run.
Yeah.
Because that would be your biggest mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. Or are you supposed to big yourself up and roar back? And they're supposed to, I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do. I just hope I got pepper spray with me or bear spray with me. There is such a thing.
Right. I did not know there was bear spray.
But I don't know what to do. I mean, I know if I would face a wolf, I know what to do then because I've studied those creatures.
That's interesting.
I mean, because if you are out in the woods and you see a wolf, one wolf in front of you, you're screwed already.
Right. Okay.
You've got the whole pack surrounding you right now.
Right. I see.
And you don't even know it yet. So you got to realize that there's not always going to be just one single wolf out there. But it's just like a dog. You show no fear.
Okay. Like
You know,
dominance. That
don't
kind
let
of.
them sense that you're afraid.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. So you're just full of amazing facts, Joe. You really are. You're such a
Yeah, I
a
know they
wise
make bear
person.
spray. That's why I wish I, you know, if I go out and face a wolf, I hope I have, or a bear, I have some with me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid of, you know, anything else in the Wisconsin wild so much because there's not a lot in Wisconsin that can really harm you. You got rattlesnakes, but their poison isn't enough to really kill you. It might
Yeah.
hurt like hell. Yeah, you'll have to get anti-venom, but, you know,
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. I just
if you
want to
go too
say,
far north, you might run into a moose.
oh my gosh. I just
And
feel like everything.
those are very frightening and aggressive characters. Or, you know,
Yeah, I've heard a lot like moose can be quite aggressive,
nothing
especially
like Mr. Bullwinkle from the
no.
cartoons.
That's very American, definitely American classic. I just want to say thank you so much, Joe, for explaining your story and telling us about all of the really, really difficult things in your life. I can't even imagine or begin to think how awful it was for you. But thank you for telling us.
It was a horrible thing to go through.
Absolutely. You are a fighter. I mean,
I
how
think
much
the
have you
worst
fought?
part of it was when they sent me home cold turkey after being on a morphine drip machine.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
that made me
goodness.
realize what some, I mean, I don't feel for them because it's their own damn fault for getting addicted and using those drugs in the first place. You know, I don't believe in drugs. You know,
Okay.
pot doesn't fall into that category for me.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, but you're talking, when I say drugs, I'm talking coke, heroin, acid, all that other bad stuff. One hit can kill you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But after going through the morphine withdrawals, which I found out to me felt like a lot worse than what the disease was doing to me, the cancer. I wanted to die that day. It's like, come on, just kill me. My mom was crying in tears and stuff, and it's like, so
Oh
never
no.
again. So from this point forward, they are never again to give me morphine unless they are absolutely sure 100% that I'm not going to pull through.
Okay.
And I don't let them doctors give me like very strong painkillers or muscle relaxers because I don't want to get addicted to any of their crap.
Yeah, sure. That's
So,
understandable. But
but when you get that close to knocking on death's door like I did, you sure take a look. And when they say life flashes before your eyes, it sure does. I spent that time in the hospital. I was writing apology letters to ex-girlfriends
oh
that I had to talk to for years, you know, all kinds of things.
yeah.
And then I just started, you know, I was an asshole. Excuse my French. I'm
No
sorry, we're not
worries.
supposed to bear. But before the leukemia,
Yeah.
you know, I was a jerk. I was, every word that you could think of probably fit me back then. And after that, I changed. You know, I
Yeah.
started changing, you know, cherishing every moment that I can possibly have. You know,
Yeah. Absolutely. You're so strong, Joe. You really are. You're such a fighter, what you've been through. And honestly, thank goodness, you've done such a lot in your life and lots of people that really admire you. I mean, you've got so much going on at the moment. I know
yeah,
that you're a regular on the Things Network, aren't you? You've got your own
yeah, that was
shows.
kind of lucky.
Yeah, you're doing amazing stuff. So your show is called Insane Asylum.
Asylum on
By
Friday nights.
Yeah, it's so good. And do you do the retro reviews then?
Yes, that's mine also.
Oh, that's so I love the retro
See,
reviews because you talk
see what
about.
I did? What I did, I'll tell you how this all started quick.
Yeah, please
In
do.
2017, I lost Hold on. I can get it real quick
Nice.
because you're going to want to see this one. I lost that guy.
Oh my goodness. That
His,
is that
his
even a
name,
dog?
his name is Nitro. His name was Nitro.
Oh,
He was 9 years old. He was about 8 when this picture was taken.
oh my
And
goodness.
he was a purebred Siberian Husky.
He's huge. He was huge.
No,
Absolutely
he
huge.
wasn't as huge as he looked. It's just the way he was laying on my lap that made him look huge, and the way the
Hi,
camera
Nick.
took the shot. It's all
Yeah.
camera angle that made him look huge, but it turned out to be a really beautiful picture.
Oh,
Believe it or not, that dog didn't even weigh 100 pounds.
what? Okay. Must be the
And
picture then.
because I took him to the vet. He weighed 85 pounds, and the vet said that he was overweight.
Oh,
Well, he was spoiled by me.
yeah.
Well, anyway, in 2017, he passed away.
Oh,
And I was totally heartbroken because when that dog came into my life, he wasn't even mine.
right.
My niece, Katie, all right, kind of looks like you too.
Oh,
She did back then. Anyway,
yeah.
Katie sat there and calls me and well, she got the puppy at Christmas. I was upset because she lived in an apartment. You shouldn't have a husky when you live in an apartment. And
Yeah.
a husky is not for first time dog owners.
No,
Okay.
no.
So she brings him over to my brother's house for Christmas, and I'm sitting there having so much fun because I love dogs. You know, dogs
Oh,
love me. I get along with. There hasn't been a dog that I do not like
it's
yet.
like your spirit animal.
So, so I stared him down, and in doing so, when I stared him down and made him squeal, I became the alpha male. Huskies
Oh,
are a pack dog.
yeah.
So if you don't become alpha male, you're going to have a problem
Yeah, definitely.
raising them. So she's like, "What'd you do to my dog?" And I laughed and I said, "Nothing, you know." But anyway, so here it is, 7 years later, she calls me. She's like, "Uncle Joe, can you take Nitro?" And it's like, no problem, and I already moved out of the apartments that I was living in, and we moved into a house out here in Watertown. I said, bring him out,
Oh,
2 years later, and I swear somebody poisoned him. He passes away. It was 2017, and I was heartbroken.
what?
I had never lost a dog in my life.
Oh, no.
I think they poisoned him because they were afraid. He looked too much like
What?
a wolf, and they didn't know. And this is kind of like an elderly type trailer court.
Does that
Mostly,
happen?
yeah.
What? I had no idea. That's awful, right?
So people thought he was either a wolf or a wolf hybrid because he went too fast, and all of a sudden he got sick and went too fast and had a heart attack all in
No,
less than 12 hours.
no, that's really suspicious.
We were
What?
we were super close to getting him to the vet before he died. So,
Could they do like
well, we didn't have the money for that, but we could have found out why. I had my suspicions. I trust my gut. I've taken police science, and I was a private investigator in security for many years. I trust my gut.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
So
that's really interesting.
anyway, my wife was like upset because she's like, I don't like leaving him alone and go to work. He's so used to having the puppy here now. So
Yeah.
they went out and they got me a puppy. And
Oh, nice.
her name was Timber Joy. She picked me. I didn't pick her.
Oh, do
So
you have a picture?
that one is, I don't know how well it will work, but it should be.
Oh,
Right there.
just about to see her face.
Yeah.
Is it another husky?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh.
She's a purebred Siberian Husky. And when she came to us, she was 7 months old and she was pure white. And if you notice on her back and her tail there, she's got black.
Yes. Yeah.
But she's mostly white. And she's a real diva.
She's absolutely gorgeous. Wow.
I've only raised Huskies.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Is that what's helped you to get through a lot of the trauma that's happened in your life? Is it through your dogs with your family?
No, because I haven't had them all the time. They help me from going crazy and hearing voices or stuff like that, or talking to myself or something.
Yeah.
Because I hate being alone nowadays.
Sure.
I used to love it. I used to be a real loner, you know.
Oh.
But this whole thing between the podcasting and all of this, you know, and going to get her that white fur ball, that's why this whole thing started.
Oh.
It was a 3.5 hour drive to the kennel she was at, and Mark drove. And I sat up front with Mark, my wife, and Mark's girlfriend were in the back seat, and we had them laughing so hard. Oh, we should be recording this and put it up on YouTube. It'd probably go viral.
Yeah.
And here we are today with our podcast. We started out, I formed a company called Utterly Insane Productions, LLC.
Yes.
So everything I do goes under that umbrella.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah. I love your shows. I just think you have such a great sense of humor, and you've got so much knowledge. You just seem to be like a jack of all trades. You just know so much about.
I grew up because of the bipolar. It was hard to keep jobs.
Right, I see.
It was also hard because, how can I put this? My dad had a bad temper.
Yeah.
Okay? Mine was worse. My brother's is even worse because my brother drinks and he's also an alcoholic. But I wasn't. Sorry. I was able at some point, and it wasn't until much later in my life, to get control of that temper.
Yeah.
And not let the temper control me.
Yeah.
You know, I did things like, I'm glad there was no video cameras and cell phones and stuff like there is today, because I did a lot of stupid shit in my life.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I even hit my boss.
Oh my gosh, Joe.
I'm not kidding. Well, technically he was my boss, but I didn't see him that way.
Right.
I took police science, but I didn't finish because I got into a very serious car accident that almost killed me.
Oh my goodness, Joe.
Okay. And this was back in 91. I owned a video rental store. Blockbuster puts me out of business. Then I get into the car accident after that almost killed me. But all this, you know, this was before the leukemia, little things, you know, there's a lot. You know, I could write a book, who knows.
You should write a book. You should.
But I sat there, you know, I lost track of my thought.
You were talking about your boss that you hit.
Oh, yeah. So during the time, you know, I took police science, didn't finish because of the car accident. But I finished most of it. But because I missed 3 months, there was going to be a hard time to catch up. And I wasn't going to start over.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't going to be a desk jockey, meaning I wasn't going to be a pencil pusher sitting behind a desk. Because at that point, that's all I was going to be able to do.
Yeah.
So I did security and private investigative work for a long time. And and between all the jack of trades, you know, working at like McDonald's and this, you get to learn to read people
Yeah.
along the way, especially when you deal with the public.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So that was a great gift when it came to my security, you know, doing security and being a private investigator and all that. Well, that led to a lot more, which, you know, led to all of this.
Yeah.
So I got to learn to trust my gut over the years about people.
Yeah. It's a great gift to have. It really is.
It just doesn't make me money.
Yeah. Hi, Charles. How are you? No worries. Thanks for tuning in. I want to talk a little bit more about the paranormal side of things. Have you had anything else happen that's paranormal that you couldn't explain, or anything weird that has also made you believe, like keep that belief? Because obviously your out of body experience just trumps everything, but just wondered.
Right. I mean, I watched a lot of the shows before we got started doing it because we were pissing people off early on.
Yeah.
So when we got to doing the investigations into the paranormal,
because you are an investigator, aren't you, as well?
What's that?
You are an investigator as well, aren't you, for the paranormal investigator?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So we just don't go out too much in the wintertime because I hibernate. I'm like a bear. So this time of year, yeah, I want to get out. You know, I'm getting that cabin fever. When we started going out in like 2019, you know, some of those investigations, we didn't really see much. You know, we were more like debunking something we saw on, you know, like something we saw on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and that was kind of fun too, because, you know, there's a place called Sanatorium Hill in Madison. You can't access the building because it's a government building. They got sensitive whatever in there, right?
Oh.
So, but it was a TB hospital back in the 20s and the 30s and so on and so forth. Well, we saw this video. Oh, we got a ghost. It's crossing the front lawn. You know, look, it's spirit crossing the front lawn. And I looked at Mark and I grew up in Madison.
Yeah.
I went sledding down that hill. You know, it had a great big hill.
Nice.
They got a fence there. So, but when I was a kid, that fence wasn't there, and you'd end up going into Northport Drive, and that wasn't fun if you did. Because Northport Drive wasn't a highway, but it was busy as a highway.
Right.
It was the main road between Madison and Middleton.
Right.
And anyway, so I knew that ground's pretty good. I said, nah, man, that's like, because they showed this on YouTube as like, 2 o'clock in the morning, after midnight, whatever. And it's like, damn it, that's somebody walking from behind, probably going to the only 24-hour store and just cut across the lawn so they get a pack of cigarettes or something.
Yeah.
Sure enough,
logical.
Between Mark and I, we basically recreated it.
Oh, that's clever.
Walking across right around the same spot, and we got the same kind of effect and stuff from the lights off the building.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to debunk stuff, like actually doing it. Yeah.
You got to know the area too. It helps. But back to your question, I think the thing that really got me when we spent 8 hours talking to a guy named Lee Hample on his property about the Beast of Bray Road.
Right.
And when he started physically showing me the casts and the pictures and stuff from his trail cams, I was hooked.
That's interesting. Yeah. Could you explain a bit about that? Because I'm not familiar with that story or the entities that he's referring to.
The Beast of Bray Road is what they say is like a dog man, half man, half dog, or like a werewolf. Or Skinwalker, or, there's been a lot of theories
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
it is. In 19, what was it, 30 something, or was it 60 something? Anyway, there's a woman named Linda Godfrey. She was a writer for a local paper in the Elkhorn area.
Right.
She's the one that dubbed it the Beast of Bray Road. She's the one that named it. She was a famous local author from the area. She
Right.
wrote she wrote the books on the Beasts of Bray Road. So that's what got me
cool.
hooked.
Yeah.
Reading her books and then reading Chad Lewis's books, who's
Okay.
another author from Wisconsin.
Oh, thanks, Eric.
But the first time we investigated it there, we actually got a few things, and hearing Lee's stories and how credible this guy is. I mean, he wasn't doing this to be famous, or he
No.
bought the land just for the purpose of harvesting hay for his horses back
Right.
in Illinois. So when I saw what actually went on this property, I got to go back. I got to go back. So
Yeah.
we've gone back there every year since we started this in 2019.
Wow.
And we plan on going back this year again with our buddy Dale Kazmarek from Illinois. And he's got a friend coming in from England that's going to be joining us.
Oh, wow. That's
as
really
well.
interesting. Yeah. And do you make videos about this? Do you
Oh
broadcast
yeah,
it?
we have a YouTube channel that's
Yeah.
got all our investigations up there. We post them on Facebook. After the only editing I do is put like a little intro screen type thing,
Yeah.
saying what it is, what it's about, whatever, and then a credit screen at the end.
Yeah.
And some of the video footage, it's going to be edited, but edited for time, not for making money or making it look good. So
Right.
what you see is what we saw. It's basically, it's just edited so that it's not 3-4 hour long video on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll chop them down or piece them up,
Yeah.
but we don't edit any of the investigation footage at all.
No.
I might
it's all legit.
I might edit little comments in across the bottom to kind of advertise, like subscribe, that kind of thing. But that's the most editing I do.
And what's the name of this channel, Joe?
That's under Utterly Insane Productions. It's
nice.
I can put the link down there for you.
That would be great. Thank you. I'll definitely I can post it after the live as well, so people can go and check it out. That's really interesting. I don't know anything about that, so I would be very interested to see the footage and what you guys get up to. Yeah, 1936 as well. I mean, that's really early.
So anyway, a woman was driving down Bray Road. And Bray Road's about a 2.5 mile road, and it's dark. There's no street lights on this road, and the houses are set way back away from the road because they're like farmhouses. This is in a small little town called Elkhorn.
Right.
All right. And it sits there, and it's very dark, and it's got woods on both sides of it in some places. So it can be very, very spooky. So our first thing was driving down and doing like this in the car with a camera and just driving down there at night. And it happened to be a full moon too, because that was part of the stories. Be down there at a full moon. But you could hear me talking, and as I sit there, I explain to this, you cannot, just go based on these stories, because I can easily see how somebody can have the mind play tricks on them.
Yeah.
You're out there alone, midnight, and you see like a wolf or a coyote eating roadkill. The lights come down and headlights, and he kind of does that arching up. He might look bigger in your mind later, you know, because you're a little freak by yourself,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
very
true.
dark. You only got moonlight, and that's about it. And your headlights,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But
So
when we got over
dogmen.
when we got over to the property that's owned by this gentleman,
Yeah.
that has been dubbed the Skinwalker Ranch of Wisconsin.
Oh, I've heard of this place. There's a lot on that on YouTube.
And
Right.
and the real Skinwalker Ranch is in Utah.
Right.
But
Yes.
the Barnaby Jones, another paranormal investigator, dubbed this place that. I know him. I've crossed his path a few times, and he's crossed.
Oh.
We're really good friends. Anyway, Barnaby Jones from CAPS is the one that named this property there. And it's
Okay.
because when we got there, that's all I thought I'd hear is stories about the Beasts of Bray Road.
Right.
But when we got there, we got a lot more than what we bargained for.
Mm.
So it
What
was
happened?
just dog stories. Well, there's things like UFOs going on, being sighted on that property with these trail cams. Things we can't identify that are not the dog man that have been spotted in the middle of this field. And they're not like anything local like deer or, you know, because he's got plenty of pictures of those.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on. We think there's like portals there
Right.
or something.
That's interesting. So you are a believer of OAPs and aliens. I wanted to ask
Oh,
you
I'm a
about that.
believer of everything. I think it's kind of ignorant to think that in this very small kind of like dust type fragment of the universe that we live in, that we're the only life form out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. That's
And
interesting.
I think the reason we really haven't had any real true experiences is because we don't pose a threat.
Yeah.
I think there's stuff that's more intelligent out there, more advanced,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah,
And I
I
mean,
agree.
you know, the more I look into things like Roswell and stuff like that, the more I believe in somehow we did backwards technology on stuff that was recovered from alien ships or whatever.
Absolutely. I'm sure there was
That's how
reverse
we advanced in the
engineering.
computer industry and stuff has advanced so fast.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I have heard about it for many years. Very interesting. Oh, nice, Charles. And Eric, yeah, people already, they're forgetting that the government already said that there's aliens. Like, it's ongoing, you know, with the Congress and everything. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Wanted to ask you about, can you see any of the Northern Lights? Because everybody is talking about the Northern Lights, solar
I haven't.
energy.
I went to bed early last night, so I didn't even go out and look.
No. No. Do you think there could be an increase of paranormal activity, of OAP sightings because of this solar storm?
From what I was reading and hearing about this solar storm, I wouldn't be surprised at anything weird happening during this. What was it, last night and tonight? It's supposed to happen again yet?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Are you going to be investigating?
no, I'm going to be getting ready to leave here and go and have my first cookout of the year.
Oh, nice. So barbecue.
Yep. Mark is going to fix me dinner.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's beautiful weather at the moment, isn't it? Really, really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice out there right now.
What about UK people? What's the weather like today? We want to know that side of the pond, how it's going. Just wanted to ask you one thing, Joe, is that you are very knowledgeable about films, entertainment, because you had your own video store.
Yes.
And could you tell us a little bit about what your interests are and your passions? I know that you love films. Any particular type of film? Any other
No,
passions?
I don't have a favorite genre of films because I kind of like them all.
Oh, that's
Uh,
good.
I don't like reading, so I won't watch foreign films because then you got to read the
Oh, yeah, the subtitles.
subtitle. Um, but if they're dubbed over, so you can hear it, in English, then I'll watch them.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of things over the years. I like what I'm doing here. I had a passion for computers at an early age. I
Mm.
was on the computers and playing around with them before the internet happened.
Oh, okay.
I actually got, I think it's in the closet here behind me, my very first computer, home computer, sitting up in its box up there somewheres.
Oh, wow. What do you remember what year it was, more or less?
It was 1980, and it was a Texas Instruments 994A.
Wow, that's
You had to
vintage.
hook it up to a TV set with
Wow.
an RF switch.
No
That
way.
split that went from TV to computer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. And you love gaming as well, because I remember you
Yeah,
said
I
Atari and
I grew up in the arcades when there was arcades, so I consider myself a video game junkie. I've
yeah.
played every system except the two new ones, the newest Xbox that's coming out, and I haven't touched the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I own all the rest of them.
That's incredible. I love the old consoles, the Atari, the Sega Mega Drive, all of those. They're just so simple, but the games were so good, so
Yeah,
challenging.
it's hard to play some of those games today
Yeah.
because you had to have a lot of patience because they were so slow.
Yep. Yep.
The
And
graphics weren't that
difficult.
great and they were so slow.
Yeah. The old cartridges that you got and memories.
You'd have to blow in them to get them to work sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk a lot about this on your retro review, don't you? You talk about
A lot of
things.
different things from the past. I
Yeah.
mean, the see, I grew up in both the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
So I remember both.
Yeah.
And after that, sometime in the 90s, everything went to hell.
Yeah. Just
You
went too
know,
fast.
these kids today don't know what it was like growing up without a phone.
No.
We didn't have computers. We
No.
only had 3 channels on the TV. And my mother was the type of person that would kick my brother and I's ass outside and says, I don't want to see you until it's dinner time.
Yeah. Definitely can't do that now.
So we had to go outside and play and use our imagination.
Yeah.
And that's part of why Hollywood is failing. That younger people that are getting in there and controlling Hollywood grew up without using an imagination. So that's why
Yes.
they're rehashing everything.
Yeah, they're I have to agree. They are not being very imaginative at all.
Mm-mm.
Just lots of remakes, lots of
Yep.
reboots all the time.
Or let's turn this video game into a movie or this movie into a video game.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many great books out there that could be sort of reimagined but no, like I just feel there's not a lot of potential.
Maybe they should talk to me and make a movie of my life.
Yes, they should, Joe. 100%.
And then I got the perfect title for it.
Is it PG friendly?
I've seen a lot of, to put it, I guess, I've seen a lot of shrinks over the years.
Hmm.
For for very good reasons. And the last one I saw that really helped me, he gave me a book to read that gave me a lot of tools to help somebody that's bipolar,
Right.
that goes through the highs and the lows a lot.
Yeah.
And anyway, he gave me his report, and it was like about that thick,
Wow.
All right. And on the first page, somewhere along that line, I got it highlighted. He called me a psychologist wet dream. Because people that have been through as much crap as I've been through and survived, they're either in a nut house and they can't function, or they've offed themselves by now. They don't live to be my age. And I went through a lot before I was, before I even got the cancer.
Yeah. That's a bit random that he phrased it that way, but
yeah, but
but
it wasn't if you knew the guy, because he and I had a kind of a unique doctor-patient thing, because he had a sense of humor.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's because I have a problem trusting people.
Yeah.
So
I'm
if
not
I don't like the
surprised.
doctor, I don't click with the doctor, you don't last more than that one visit.
Yeah, I think
Because I
that's
don't like
really
to get-
important.
Well, doctors tend to stereotype people based on their looks.
Mm,
And I think that's wrong.
yeah, definitely. No, I think that's really important, is to be able to trust doctors and people that are trying to help you. Totally.
Well, yeah. I mean, you see me, I got long hair. I've had long hair most of my life, except for when I lost it due to the leukemia. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's like Brian
There is
May.
hair, there is hair under the hat. I'm not trying to cover up a bald spot or anything, because I have none. But you see that with that, and when this was darker and stuff, and me wearing like a biker style leather jacket, yeah, I get a lot of dirty looks, but it doesn't mean I'm an asshole or a bad guy or a dirtbag because I'm wearing a leather coat, or I'm a drug seeker. I mean, I hate doctors.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of bad experiences with some of these quacks.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, I love your style, Joe. I think you've got your style and you totally rock it. So don't ever change.
Well, yeah,
It's great.
I was never part of the norm. I mean, when kids were listening to one thing, I was listening to something totally different, when it came to music. And I got picked on for it. But too bad.
Yeah.
I decided after the leukemia, and it did tick a lot of people off and make them upset. And yeah, some of them were family. But the only one that was important to me that mattered, she gave me her blessing to do what I wanted to do. And that was my mother. I'm a mama's boy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. I'm a mama's boy. And I miss my mom every day. But when I got done with the leukemia and I started getting better, and I also realized that there was no way that I could go back to doing security work, because I couldn't be on my feet that long.
No.
So I chose to drive cab.
Oh, wow.
I loved driving cab for a while. I'm a jack of all trades. I've worked in restaurants. I did custodial work.
Wow.
I've done just about every job that was imaginable, but they were all dead-end jobs, unfortunately. Didn't lead very far.
Right.
But I drove cab for 2 different companies in Madison, and I loved doing it. I even had celebrities in my cab twice.
Wow. Can you spill the tea as to who they were? Or?
I get to that. But
okay.
But the thing about the driving cab and stuff, it gave me a lot of time to think. So I went to my mother and I says, you know what? I says, I've been walking around most of my life trying to please everybody else but myself.
Mm.
My kids are at an age where they're adults. I don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start enjoying life for me because there's not much time left. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know, at the time I didn't know. I still don't know. I'm past my expiration date.
Oh,
So I went out and I did what would make, I've done things that would make more men jealous than you could shake a stick at, you know. I
yeah.
I traveled all over for, I don't know, 5, 6 years. All over Wisconsin. Had a girlfriend every single town that I went to.
Oh.
So I could disappear on any given weekend.
Yeah.
All right. But so I started not worrying about, you know, and just
Yeah.
started worrying about myself and making myself be happy. You know,
Yeah.
what do I
Yeah.
want? What's going to make me happy? And then
Yeah.
eventually I decided, after I lost all these people in a short period of time, it was like 2006. I said, well, that's about time for me to, you know, start settling down. And I had an angel over my shoulder or something that helped me find my wife. And I've been with her ever
Oh.
since. It was like October or November of 2006 that we met and started dating, and I married her in Las Vegas,
Yes.
February 14th,
That's amazing.
2010.
That's
So
lovely.
so I won that trip to Las Vegas. It was like fate was lending itself a hand, or
Yeah.
that angel that was whispering on my shoulder was helping me.
It was meant to be. It really was.
And the angel was the longest relationship I had.
Mm.
She helped me through the leukemia and stuff. And she died in 2003 or 2004 to brain tumors.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry, Joe.
before my youngest turned 9.
No.
So May's a really bad month for us.
I'm sorry, Joe. I had no idea about that. I'm so
So
sorry.
I was with her mom for 11 and a half years on and off.
Wow.
So, but back to the cab thing. Um, I'll tell you right now, the worst one was a local celebrity.
Okay.
My rookie year, I got, and some people might know who this is. His name's Barry Alvarez. He was the coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, the head coach.
Okay.
And he was throwing a fit in my cab because he did just lost the Rose Bowl or something, and he was coming back from California, and I picked him up at the airport, and they lost his luggage, and he was bitching and taking it out on me.
Yeah.
And I wish I'd known, because I would have pulled over and kicked him out. I wish I had known I could have done that. But he was the
Yeah.
worst.
Right.
But I was driving cab one night, and I decided to take an extra long break so that I could stay longer
Mm.
till like 5 o'clock in the morning. My last call, I picked up at a hotel room, at a hotel room, at a hotel.
Mm.
I was like 5 guys because I had the van.
Right.
And so I picked them up, and they were going to the Kohl Center, but I had to pull in to the underground garage of the Kohl Center. Now, Kohl Center is a venue that they put on concerts and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So as I'm driving along, I'm sitting there looking in my rearview mirror, and I realized, and it took a while because normally during my generation, we all knew these guys with makeup on. I had
Yeah.
Ace Frehley from Kiss in my cab.
No way.
And the other guys that were with him were the roadies. So I get down there, and then I get down in under the ground, and here's Gene Simmons like tapping his wrist like you're late, you know, and he's standing in front of the bus, you know.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because I
Were
kept
they
my mouth
nice?
shut. because I kept my mouth shut and I didn't go all fan struck on them or anything like that, and I just kept acting like I didn't know who the hell they were, I ended up with $100 tip on the ride.
Wow. So they were nice.
Oh yeah, they were real nice. I mean, they were asking, and this wasn't the first time, because these people tend to ask. It's like, well, what's it like here? You know, they have the questions about the area, the Madison. You know, so
Yeah.
what would you recommend I see if I come through here next time? You know,
Oh.
or do that kind of thing. And that happened again because I was at a bar, or the call was to pick up at this bar, and it was bar time, and it's like, okay, I pick up these two guys at this bar. I had no clue who they were because I don't listen to their music. I really
No.
don't. But I saw them on wrestling. So they say, oh, is there a place we can get breakfast that's open to go? And I said, yeah, there's a Denny's right here up the road. It's along the way. He said, well, pull into the Denny's so we can get breakfast and leave the meter running. And it's like, oh, do you want anything? I says, just tell the cook it's for the cab driver. That's how often I ate at that Denny's. You know, the cook knew what I wanted. Oh, it's for the cab driver? Okay. So these guys buy me breakfast. I get them there. They're a tour bus, and here's this tour bus, and these two guys with this clown makeup all over their face, and it's like Insane Clown Posse. They were on a book signing tour.
Oh, I see. I'm not too familiar with them. Are they an American?
They are like a rap group or something,
Right.
or
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe somebody that's watching knows who Insane Clown Posse is. The only way I knew who they were was from wrestling.
Yeah, yeah.
But I ended up with breakfast and like $150 for my tip.
Oh, wow. That's so nice. Oh, that's amazing, Joe. I can't get over the Kiss one. Like seeing Gene Simmons, and wow.
The other thing is, if you look up the history of Kiss and you look up the Kiss family tree, all the members of Kiss, his name is Eric Carr. He wasn't one of the original four. Okay, he was a replacement later. If you look up what his real name is, he's related to me.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah,
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Like a distant cousin. Like his grandfather and my grandfather were like brothers.
Yeah.
But his grandfather decided to stay in New York.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And my grandfather migrated to Wisconsin. So that made me the third generation. Wait.
Right. I see.
No, I was the second generation born in the United States.
Right. Yeah, because you have Italian roots, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I have to say, Joe,
I don't admit any of the rest of it.
No.
I never will.
No. I just want to say, Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We are a little bit over, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and commenting. It's been so interesting. Thank you so much, Joe, again. Like, it's just been great. It's been really, really fun. We have to get you back because I feel like
you're gonna have to probably do a part two. Yeah, I knew you would. I knew you would.
Definitely, we have to, because I still have quite a lot of questions to ask you about everything. So yeah, definitely part two is pending. Please hit the like button if you liked and enjoyed. Show Ben and Lou some support. They will be back, I think, next weekend. Just wanted to say I'm wearing the merch by Pentatonix, and it is so comfortable. I absolutely love this merch. It's really, really.
I like their logo.
Yeah, with the other dimension. It's just so nice.
I like that.
Got another t-shirt here, which is Ben and Lou, Occult Science. Again, really, really comfy. I just love this merch. It is so good. So yeah, I will say thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much again, Joe. And I will see you soon with another Got Stories to Tell. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.